Here's Chick on Stores. We're following for you today on Robin Hood Radio. Over the weekend, the spirit of Ed Kirby was felt on Saturday. Hundreds of guests came to pay tribute to the man of innumerable talents. The settling was the green expanse of the Housatonic River in back of Housatonic Valley Regional High School, where Kirby spent his days as a student and coach. It's now the Ed Kirby baseball field. The school's alumni association had been discussing the idea of naming the field for the educator, coach, geologist, author, and historian when he passed away in February of 2021 at the age of 92. Last spring, a new scoreboard was named in his honor, and over the past year, a large project to upgrade all the fields was undertaken by the association, which raised more than $152,000. Alumnus Steve Blass, who was coached by Kirby before becoming a Major League Baseball player for the Pittsburgh Pirates, remained close to the Kirbys after graduating, and they often would attend important events in his life. He said the number of donors who contributed to the field says much about the community and about Kirby himself. Ed's daughter, Ann, talked about Pop, the quintessential family man who was rich in imagination and creativity. He grew up on the Miles Sanctuary in Sharon, where he was stimulated by the natural surroundings. Joining the military during World War II, never saw combat, serving as an engineer surveying Japanese islands. Returning home, he went to college on the GI Bill, became a teacher and coach at Cornwall Consolidated School. His yearly salary back then was $2,000 a year, plus a $200 stipend for coaching all three sports. Before joining the high school staff, he retired at the age of 55 as assistant superintendent. He kept busy up until his death, writing, lecturing, and serving on a host of volunteer boards. Well, the good cause eviction bill barring landlords from unjust rent hikes has failed in New York. Despite a last-ditch plea by housing advocates, the statewide good cause eviction legislation never made it to a vote during the year's legislative session. On Tuesday, activists in the gallery of the Assembly threw pro-good cause flyers into the chamber floor while yelling, "Good cause now." Outside the chambers, more than 100 advocates demonstrated on the Capitol's Great Western Staircase. But still, the bills sponsored by the Assembly by Pamela Hunter and in the Senate by Julia Salazar were a no-go. What is Granicus, and why does the proposal surveillance of short-term rentals make Great Barrington uneasy? If voters today approve a proposed short-term rental bylaw, Great Barrington plans to hire a digital services company to make sure people are abiding by the new rules. The debate over proposed bylaw has touched an oversight issue, including the possibility of surveillance by Granicus. The company estimates the service would cost the town $10,000 a year. It's a company that specializes in online government services. They would compile data and maintain a hotline through which neighbors could report on neighbors. Well, the company says there are guardrails to prevent unfair or false accusations. Perhaps because the planned data collection hasn't been explained to residents in detail, the digital host compliance service is making some in Great Barrington nervous. Residents are preparing to vote at the annual town meeting on that proposed bylaw that would regulate rentals, as well as put a cap at 150 to the number of days per year one can host renters. A citizen's petition with an alternate bylaw that regulates housing but does not carry cap rental days will also be presented to the voters. As gun violence continues in Poughkeepsie, Delgado says New York is trying to lead the way. The former congressman for the 19th District from Rhinebeck said it's incumbent on the state to provide resources to keep kids safe and provide them with activities before and after that keep them away from violence, especially in marginalized communities. Delgado in the Queen City spoke with community stakeholders in a private session. That visit came 3 weeks after an 18-year-old killed 10 people at a supermarket in Buffalo. One day after New York's legislature passed bills raising the age to buy a semi-automatic rifle to 21 and require a license for that purchase. Other new legislation will restrict civilian purchases of bullet-resistant armor and require new guns to be equipped with micro-stamping technology that can help law enforcement investigators trace bullets to particular firearms. In Ellenville, some families are suing HBO, Mark Ruffalo, over the fire on the set of I Know This Much Is True. Two families are suing HBO and Ruffalo and the owners of an Ellenville car dealership that was destroyed by a fire during the filming in 2019, and they say it has caused them permanent harm. The families who live less than 100 feet from the site of the fire are seeking more than $1 million each for suffering, debilitating injuries, and serious health, mental, and emotional injuries. They expect to linger for the rest of their lives, according to the lawsuit, which was filed in May in Ulster County Court. Police investigating that crash in Sheffield that killed a Connecticut teen over the weekend. State police detectives assigned to the Berkshire District Attorney's Office investigating a Wednesday afternoon single-vehicle crash that killed a Connecticut teen, sending the driver and another passenger to hospital with injuries. Shakoya Perryman, 19, of Bloomfield, Connecticut, was a passenger in a vehicle that crashed into a tree off Ashley Falls Road before noon, according to Andrea McKeever, the DA's public information officer. Sheffield police responded to the accident at 11:46 a.m. Perryman and 2 others were taken by ambulance to Fairview Hospital, where Perryman died of injuries suffered in the crash. McKeever said police say injuries are sustained by 2 others in the car were not life-threatening. Some meetings going on today. In Sharon, we have the Housing Plan Steering Committee meeting at 5:30. In Salisbury, at 5 p.m., Board of Selectmen. At 6:30, Planning and Zoning. In North Canaan, coming up tonight at 7 o'clock, the Board of Selectmen. In Cornwall, tonight at 7:30, the Cornwall Agricultural Advisory Commission meeting. In Kent, Northwest Connecticut Transit District Board of Directors special meeting being held 8:30 today. Park and Rec meeting regular tonight at 7. Village of Millerton has their workshop meeting. That is coming up tonight at 6 p.m. And Sheffield has their select board meeting coming up tonight at 7 p.m. Our business brief is underwritten by Morgan's at the Interlaken. You'll find a tapas menu, also nightly dinner specials, interlakeninn.com. You'll also find them on Facebook and Instagram, and by Salisbury Bank, salisburybank.com. Dow Jones Industrial Average starts off the week at 32,899.70, the NASDAQ at 12,012.73, and the S&P 500 at 4108.54. We'll take a look at the tri-state forecast. That'll come your way in just a few moments.